Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Today I've got a very special guest. Thank you so much, James, for joining me today. How are you doing?
No, I'm all good. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. And I've got to admit right now to everyone, we were just talking about it. We've been trying to do this for, I'm not exaggerating, months. And there's always been
Literally
something that's
months.
come up, and it's all my fault. It's just, life, Arsenal life. It can be just relentless, can't it? But I'm really looking forward to this. So thank you for having me on.
Oh no, thanks so much for coming on. And honestly, we've like been trying to organize this for so long, but both been busy. But I'm just happy we can do this now. And I wanted just to start this off. A lot of people know you from like AFTV, but if you don't mind, just telling people a bit about that and like how you
Yeah.
got onto AFTV.
Yeah, weird story because I say weird. It's not that weird. I was at uni. I was studying Italian because I'm half Italian. I know I kind of cheated my way in there, but and I was studying business. Don't know why. I mean, I kind of thought that that would just be a good life skill. I was kind of interested in it a little bit. Um, Uni was great, but I kind of realized that I wanted to cover football. I was
Mhm.
making really crappy football websites, trying to just get some practice writing, all that. I wanted to do a master's in it. I did a master's in sports journalism, and then I quickly found myself in a job doing sports journalism and some football writing and doing some other bits and bobs, helping out in other areas of kind of sport and stuff. And then when the pandemic happened, I was made redundant, as a lot of people were. It was a really tough time for a lot of people. Um, but the kind of stars aligned a little bit for me. I got very lucky because AFTV advertised for presenters on LinkedIn. Someone sent it through, and I thought, well, why not? I thought, like, why not throw? I've never done anything on camera or anything like that. Well, that's not true. I've done one or two things, but really didn't count. I thought, okay, well, I'll give it a go. And yeah, they liked me. So it's weird because I spent my long lockdown making a lot of written Arsenal content. It wasn't for anyone. It wasn't work. It was just stuff I wanted to do to keep myself busy, give myself a purpose every day. Obviously, lockdown was very sort of quiet, closed off time for a lot of people. So I wanted to make use of that time in some way, shape, or form. So I don't know whether that helped, sort of doing Arsenal content in that time. But yeah, and I met Robbie and I met the team, and Cecil and I started from there. So it's a very kind of quick journey from not realizing I wanted to do sports journalism to being at AFTV. But it all worked very fortunately for me.
Oh, that's really good. I feel like I couldn't imagine you like not on AFTV. I'm so used to you now on it because it
Oh,
feels
thank
like you've
you.
been on it forever
And
in a
it's
good way.
It's funny because it doesn't feel to me like I've been on it very long at all. I feel like a
Mm,
still a real baby, especially in the YouTube world. But what's it been, 2.5 years now? That's
that's
crazy. It
crazy.
it
Yeah.
feels like a year and a bit maybe. But this is basically my third full season. We've nearly completed a third full season of watching Arsenal as someone who does the stuff I do at AFTV. So and they've been three very different seasons as well. So yeah, I know time flies, isn't it?
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, like, what have your like best moments on AFTV been? Like, have you got any standout moments where you just really would point out as that?
What a great question. I can give you a few for different
Mm.
reasons. The Orlando tour was just such a highlight. I mean, being out there with the Arsenal fans and filming content and picking up the AFTV mic and going around to the different fans outside one of the pubs we were at was unbelievable. I mean, it was unbelievable from the just the fans coming from everywhere, people knowing the work we do and thinking, I'm thinking, wow, you've come all the way from South Africa and you're watching our content in London. That was really surreal. And of course, really good fun. The Arsenal fans were
Yeah.
unbelievable. We had a really great time, met lots of different Arsenal content creators, journalists, all sorts. That was great. Um, Turkish and Seth have given me some hilarious moments, I will say, filming with them and Robbie, of course, as well. But we've had some really funny moments. I really enjoyed coverage of the Euros as well, stuff like that. That was more on DR Sports, but that was great. Otherwise, Otherwise, the Chelsea, the win against Chelsea, the 1-0 earlier this season, where I was there for that, for doing AFTV, supporting the team and all that, that was amazing as well. So in three very different ways, one for the tour, one being just working with the amazing colleagues I work with, and the other the actual covering football for AFTV. As covering football, covering Arsenal, going to watch Arsenal as an Arsenal fan, but doing the stuff I do for AFTV as well as part of it. It's amazing, and the way Arsenal played that day, that was just a great. That was the day I thought we actually looked like a team that could win this league,
Mm.
and that was pretty surreal. Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. I
Mm.
think I always loved in lockdown watching like the live watch alongs. I always loved that. I think it's really good to look back over like the years you've been here on those memories. I wanted just to put this one up. Would you want to stay with AFTV forever?
First of all, it's a great name. Harry sucks at YouTube. I'm sure you don't, but thank you. Actually, is using my favorite Pokemon there as a profile pic, whatever you'd call it. So there you go. Would I want to stay with FTV forever? Yeah. I mean, like I got into football really late, and I became an Arsenal fan because of my dad. And I kind of like denied, like I didn't like football till I was about 10, 11, which is actually quite late. Normally kids get into about 5 or 6 or whatever. So I got into quite late, but then I got obsessed, and um yeah, I love covering football. And it's funny, I was having a conversation with some people quite close to me around the time of the redundancy and stuff at my old job. And they said, "Well, what's your dream? What would you want to do?" I said, "My dream is to cover Arsenal, really." And then the AFTV stuff happened. So yeah, I would love to be AFTV forever. It would mean the channel's doing great things, and and I love the people I work with, and I love the fact that I'm covering Arsenal, and the colleagues are amazing. So yeah, it's absolutely that would be a dream situation. My mum's worked for her company. It's the first job she ever had, and she's been with them for over 30 years now. So it's very doable. So yeah, I would love for that to happen.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine you not on AFTV. I'm so used to you now on it. I wanted to talk to you like with some of maybe the challenges you might have faced as well. We've like spoken about this, like guess with social media and things, and how have you sort of managed that? Because I know when you've on like such a big platform on Twitter, all of that, it's like it's quite overwhelming when like you might
Yeah.
have an opinion and people like to like criticize you. So with like all the challenges that have came your way, how have you faced them?
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like by saying this, I'm putting a challenge out to people. So I hope no one takes it this way. But I've been quite lucky that
Yeah.
people haven't really abused me in a way that I thought was worth reporting on, or was worth
Mm.
um, really responding quite strongly towards. If people have been critical of me and my thoughts, I tend to take it okay, I think. When I'm doing the live shows on AFTV, I will bite back sometimes because it's a live show and it's happening, and you think, why not? Um,
Yeah.
but it's a difficult one because I remember back in January, I tweeted about why Jorginho, um, was a player that Arteta might want. And people didn't take kindly to it. People really were replying like, "Oh, raise your standards. You're talking rubbish. Arteta apologist, blah, blah, blah," all that stuff, right? And if I'm confident I'm in the right, if I'm confident about my opinion, I'll just reply, say, "Well, what's your issue with what I said?"
Mm.
And more often than not, they don't really know why they're angry. And they'll say, "Well, you said Jorginho would be a good signing," and I reply, "Well, no, no, I didn't. Where did I say that?"
Mm.
And they go, "Oh, you're not." Yeah, bro. It's just like, and then actually you find them catching themselves out. So I try to just say, well, what's the issue? Actually, tell me what the issue
Yeah.
is, and you'll realize that there is no issue. Where I do start to kind of get the anxiety side of it and find it difficult is if actually I realize I'm wrong. Like if someone calls something out and I realize that I gave an opinion that wasn't very researched at all, or that was a bit, or I got the wrong side of something. That's when I panic the most. Like if everyone comes at me an opinion I really strongly stand by, I can brush that off quite easily and go, whatever.
Yeah.
But if I've said something, people have taken it the wrong way, or I've not explained myself properly, that's where it bothers me the most. Where I have to go back and go, "Oh, look, I hear what you're saying. That's not really what I meant." Blah blah blah. But I don't know. Twitter can be a really evil place. It can also be a
Yeah.
really great community and a really hilarious place. And I can be low key addicted to it sometimes. The amount I get a lot of my news from there. I interact with people like you on there as well.
Mm.
But I don't know. I really try not to reply. And there will be plenty of evidence of me out there replying to bad comments and replying to people being critical. But people are critical. It's one of those things with AFTV and work we do being on YouTube or
Mhm.
whatever. It's amazing because people are giving you positive feedback every day. Not everyone goes to their job every day and always gets positive feedback or feedback alone on what they're doing. But with that comes the negative feedback. So you just got to focus on the positives, take what you can from constructive criticism and go from there.
Yeah, I think it is, like you said, it is a tough like place to be sometimes, and it's hard really when like you say an opinion, people might criticize you, but I think with you, like if you're wrong, you will say you're wrong, which is like a good thing. You won't like deny that. You'll just say it how it is,
I
really.
hope so.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
do.
not, but also it's an interesting way of putting it. If I'm wrong, but if I think Jorginho's good, but 9 out of 10 people think he's bad. That doesn't mean I'm wrong. It just means I'm very much in the minority of that opinion. But if I'm wrong by saying like I give a stat or I make a point about someone, and then there's kind of overwhelming evidence that that opinion or whatever I said was wrong, then I like to think I'm able to go, yeah, looking at that back, I've got the wrong end of this. But
Mm.
football's about opinions more often than not, and people can take it a little bit too seriously when you have an opinion about football, and it is just football. I know we live in this world where you've got to say football's everything, and my club is everything, and all that. And sure, I love this football club to the end, but football isn't everything, and yeah, people can kind of get caught up in that sometimes.
Yeah, I think for me, what I've noticed that over like the few years I've done YouTube and being on Twitter, you do have to take things like a pinch of salt when people say
Yeah.
things because, like, the people that might say things, obviously the nice comments do really mean a lot to us, but I think when people say mean things, they don't know us, they've never met us, and they only see a part of us, like on YouTube or on Twitter when we post our opinion. So I think with that, it's just, I think as time goes on, you do learn, because obviously I have learned to ignore it as well. But it is part of the job. Like with whatever you do on social media, whether it's YouTube or if you're an influencer, it's just part of it, and you just have to accept it. But other days it can get to you, so, like you said with live streams, it's hard not to just fight back and just say, like, if you have an opinion, it's your opinion. It's not wrong. It's just how you feel. So, yeah, that
Mm.
one's definitely hard, really. I did want to go back on. I know you were saying that you've done many amazing things with AFTV, and I've always watched a lot of like the vlogs when you've ever been to America and all of that. And I know that there's a lot of like worldwide fans that you've like interviewed as well. I wanted just to ask you, like, how like does it mean to you to be able to kind of interview so many fans across the world?
Yeah, it is really special. We did a live stream today on AFTV,
Mm,
um, talking about Mesut Ozil and the fact he's retired, and we played a
mm.
clip from Robbie Lyle, Mr. Don Robbie, outside the Emirates in 2013, with the AFTV mic in hand, with fans all around him celebrating that day we signed Mesut Ozil. That was nearly 10 years ago, and that's incredible. That's really incredible. And that's been documented now. That's there. That's on the internet. Everyone will see and remember because AFTV caught that moment.
Mm,
And and when you're covering a club, you're going to cover the bad moments as well at times. But look at this
mhm.
season; it's been an absolute ride. A kid did a backflip on a fan cam. They got lifted into the air as
I loved
everyone's
that. I saw
and
that. That
everyone
was
chanted
great.
Arsenal. Like that's really special. So I think those are the bits I really like. Is you know, I know we were just talking about the criticism you can get,
Mm,
but obviously everyone, like not everyone experiences the same criticism. Some can be really vile, and some can really like go beyond just opinions, and it can go in a complete different direction. But with what I've had a little bit of criticism for. I don't really consider it abuse. You get the odd message, whatever. I just think ultimately, like, I'm in a very privileged position. I'm very lucky to be doing what I do. So you just take the rough with the smooth. Like I said, other people experience it in different ways. That isn't even comparable. But you know, I, it's a privilege talking to fans. It's a privilege doing this stream. You know, this is it. This is all. I'm very lucky to be doing this. You know, yeah, and you know, I'm very grateful for it. And talking to fans, it's amazing, especially when I did the Orlando thing. I thought that this is
Mm,
unbelievable, you know. And when we do the away trips, we go around the country, and all fans are going, oh, I've come from Birmingham for this game. I've come from Manchester for this game. I've just flown in from America to come to Craven Cottage. You're thinking, wow, I mean, that's all
it's
phenomenal.
incredible.
Yeah, you do feel very lucky doing it. I know no one takes it for granted at all.
It's that's really amazing because I guess like you don't might not realize how global Arsenal is like all around the world
Mm.
and places. And even on AFTV, you're watching an interview and a fan from like say Australia has come over and it's like it's just crazy how much Arsenal means to them. I did
Yeah.
also want to touch on Ozil.
Mm.
I've got a question here. Do you think Arsenal let Ozil down? I did before we answer that. I did want to get your thoughts on that. What were your like initial thoughts on it when you first heard that news that he's retired?
Yeah, I wasn't really surprised. And then when you see that he's only 34 years old, maybe we should be a little bit more surprised. But we know he's
Mm,
got other business ventures. We know he said he's had injuries. Um, you know, we know it didn't really work for him at Fenerbahce, and it was a bad end at Arsenal. The question: Do I think Arsenal let Özil down? And I'm not just sitting on the fence here. I do that a lot. I sit on the fence a lot, but because life's rarely black and white. There's
mhm.
always there's a grey area, and for me, it's very, very hard to answer that. We had Erkut Serget come in, his agent, on AFTV interviews there. It's a great interview. And he said, look, you know, Ozil would have, let's take the wage thing, the salary thing. He said Ozil would have given double if he knew where it was going and it guaranteed certain things. And it didn't happen that way. Um, and so do I think the Arsenal let him down? Um,
It's a tough question, really, isn't it?
it's very tough. It's really tough. Uh, I, I, I think I believe there is so much we don't know about that situation, about
Mm,
all of it, from him speaking about the Uyghur Muslims to Arsenal, you know, obviously putting out statements in that they, you know, it's his opinion and they don't get involved in politics. I don't know I don't know with the pay cut, you know, whether they put him under too much pressure to do it by a certain time or whether actually they weren't clear and so he was right and everyone else just kind of followed. I just think there is so much we don't know.
yeah, it's
It's a
quite a
good
messy
question.
situation. Yeah,
I would imagine, and this is just an opinion, that both sides might look back and think it could have been dealt with differently. All of it,
mm,
the whole Arsenal Ozil end. James
yeah.
speaking like a lawyer, says Arsenal, Don Arsenal TV. I, well, he's right. He's right. And because
Oh,
that you asked me, you know, we were talking about abuse and comments and
mm,
things like that and online. I'm very, very wary of giving, and this has been my rule since day one of arriving at AFTV. I've always been very wary of giving maybe even any opinion, let alone a strong opinion on something I know I don't know a lot about. You know,
yeah.
I don't mind talking about our players' performances. I can see with my own eyes over many, many games. I can talk about a Conte interview and look at his performances as Tottenham manager and all that. But when we're talking about something that I think people will be surprised how much is still probably unknown and behind closed doors, I just try not to have too strong an opinion. And I imagine both parties won't be overjoyed with how it all panned out.
I think because none of us fans know the full story, only like Ozil, and I guess with that Uni Emery thing, and he did play a bit, but then Arteta kind of didn't. So it's we'll never know. But I think for me, like everyone's talking about his legacy. I think for me, like growing up, him and Sanchez were the players that I watched and loved, and I'll never forget him. I think what I've always loved about Ozil is his like loyalty to Arsenal. Like he didn't do like what Sanchez did. He didn't go to United, but I still respect Sanchez as well. And that beautiful football we played. What would you say about his like football career? Because and I think some fans may think he's a legend. I know he's played for different teams like Madrid, some amazing teams, and Arsenal. He won a few FA
Mm.
Cups with us, and he did play amazing football. But like, how do you sort of see his career? Do you think he had a good career?
Well, I think again, I think he's more of a football legend than an Arsenal
Mm,
legend. I
yeah.
think you can't deny that he won 3, 4 FA Cups. I call it 3. Some people call it 4 because he was part of the squad. He won La Liga. He struck an amazing partnership with one of the greatest players of all time in Ronaldo. Some people say the greatest. He played for 2 enormous football clubs, 3, Fenerbahce. Obviously played for Werder Bremen, Schalke, won the World Cup, played in 3 World Cups, blew everyone away in South Africa 2010. In terms of chance creation, I don't know if anyone's up there ever in the history books that I know of. I've seen some stats flying around, but I haven't found them myself, so I don't always want to quote stuff I don't really know about. The assist record. He is, I think, a football legend. I think when you watch him, you just have to watch him to know he was magical. He was absolutely magical. But I don't think he's an Arsenal legend. I always
Mm,
felt there was a little missing, a little too much missing. And I thought he was kind of 9 out of 10 there. He was 99% kind of a player I was so happy with, but there was always that little bit at times that was just missing for whatever reason.
mm,
And that might be the team around him. That might be the team around him. That might be the help he needed. That could be his demeanor. He didn't always look the hardest worker, but I always defended him as well, saying he does more than people give him credit for, and he was a scapegoat and all that. But yeah, I loved Ozil, and I took issue with that tweet when he said trust the process after we lost to Man City 5-0, and that's probably scarred me a little bit more than it has other people. I think a lot of people are happy to kind of laugh that off and go, oh, well, we're all feeling it at the time. But no, I think if you really love Arsenal, I don't think you. I thought that was a shot at the club, to
yeah,
make
it
a
was a bit
point.
unprofessional, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah, yeah, I thought it was him trying to make a point. I don't think he had Arsenal in his mind, like Arsenal fans and what we were
Mm,
going through in his heart or mind when that happened. But from everything you hear about Ozil, apparently he's a really, really great guy, super charitable, and you can't deny his ability as a footballer. So yeah, good. Listen, good luck to him in his retirement. He deserved more help around him at Arsenal. He had Alexis Sanchez for 3.5 years. Lacazette and Aubameyang arrived too late.
mm,
Koscielny, for me, never had a proper partner. He didn't have a defensive midfielder. And look what Arteta did. Came in, signed Thomas Partey immediately. Came in, signed Gabriel, developed Saliba, signed Ben White. All the areas that we knew we needed fixing to help a player like Ozil, Arteta addressed really quickly. Only for whatever reason they couldn't have a relationship that allowed Ozil to be a part of this.
mm. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm like the same really. I wish him well, but I think as fans we've sort of like moved on from it. I did want to talk to you about the season because what a great season it's been.
Mm.
Um I guess like none of us would have thought we would be in this position now. Why do you think why do you think we've done so well this season? Do you think is there any players for you that have been like influential
Mm.
in our title fight? Because I guess last season we failed to get in the Champions League and I didn't know how the season was gonna go. So are you like really surprised with it and like yeah, which players have like impressed you with it?
Yeah, I think momentum's a massive thing. You know, we when we didn't get top four, for a lot of Arsenal fans, that was a disaster. And
Mm,
I understand it. I don't think the
yeah.
club panicked about not getting top four like everyone else did. I think they thought, well, the aim this season was to get back into Europe. We didn't
Yeah.
think we had quite enough to get into the top four. They made signings that were clearly about building a foundation. Ramsdale, Lokonga, Tavares, Ben White, whoever else came in at that time. Now I'm
Mm,
forgetting. we signed a few others. Odegaard. I think they thought of that as building a foundation, and I think they thought this will be another season where we might win a cup competition. We might win a cup game. We might a cup game. We might win a
Mm.
cup competition. We
Yeah.
might sneak into the top four, but I don't think they panicked. And so when we
Mm.
didn't get top four and we went into the summer, I think they still were kind of adamant. Well, we want Jesus and we think he'll come even without Champions League football. And they managed to get Zinchenko over the line. Vieira comes, Saliba returns as well, and I think just especially Zinchenko, Saliba, Jesus, those three, I think, built on what was a club going in the right direction. Momentum was there in terms of the team were clearly getting better and better across last season. And they said, right, three pieces, let's go from here. And the club were, and the team started like a house on fire. I think getting Palace away as our first game of the season, you almost couldn't have had a better game. They didn't have a great preseason, Palace. We lost their 3-0, which people saw as the start of the collapse for top four.
Mm.
And it was Selhurst Park on a Friday night. It was like everything Arsenal, Arsenal started the season by addressing that immediately and going, there we go, see 2-0. We're not the team from last year. Jesus and Zinchenko would have gone into that going, it's Palace away. Sorry, what you all stressed about. And then we won. And then it started momentum. And then when Jesus got injured and Zinchenko missed a period of time,
Yeah.
the team were they had a momentum. They had a rhythm by that point. And, you know, let's take Tottenham are struggling. Let's laugh at Tottenham struggling. Who's a player they don't really rate right now? Say Sessegnon.
Mm.
Say Sessegnon's a player they don't really rate right now that much. But I bet you if they have got all the momentum in the world and new signing Perisic is doing all this stuff and they're dominating, and then he gets injured, they bring in Sessegnon, the momentum would continue. But
Mm.
now he's talked about in that way because Tottenham are having a poor season and playing poor football. I do think momentum is a massive thing for players. And so Eddie's come in, a player that a lot of people didn't think was good enough, done really well in his time. El
Mm.
Nenny's had to step in a few times and done brilliantly. And then what does Rob Holding do on the weekend? He comes in, performs superbly. The team didn't skip a beat. So I think momentum's a big thing. Zinchenko and Jesus added that, a really good preseason. And then Arteta's ideas have really all come together with the new signings going, I'm that inverted left back that's going to help you dominate midfield. And Jesus going, I'm that complete forward that's going to bring everything together in the final third. And Arsenal have just kicked on leaps and bounds from that.
Mm. Definitely. I think last season, despite not getting Champions League football, I think there were a lot of positives to take. I think even like the atmosphere, the games, you could always hear Arsenal in the crowd, like the chants and just that togetherness. And
Fans were
it's
brilliant last
probably,
season, yeah.
yeah, and even away from home as well. When you're watching it on the TV, you can hear how passionate the fans are and how behind they are from the manager.
Yeah.
Um, and I think to be in this position now is like. It's just I honestly didn't think we would be in this position, and obviously we have got City to play. We've got a few difficult games. We're going to Anfield. We've got Newcastle. And they're sort of near the top four areas, so they'll want to win. You're quite a sensible Arsenal fan, I know, and you're not someone to kind of say this, but how are you feeling about the league? Are you someone that's taking it a game at a time, or are you sort of quietly confident that we'll do this?
How can you not get excited? Of course I'm
I
excited.
know we've got 10 games to go. It's hard not to.
I'm more excited than stressed.
Mm,
When we had that 3 games in a row and then Man City beat us and went ahead of us, even though we had a game in hand,
yeah.
I did think, okay, James, just learn from this for a second. I did think to myself, just, look how quickly and easily it can go wrong, fall apart slightly. The tables can turn. But by that point, I thought, just enjoy this because
Mhm,
with Arsenal's turnaround since that bad form, 6 wins in a row,
mm,
the signings we made, the level at which these young players keep playing, I started to think to myself, this isn't a one-hit wonder. I don't believe this is Arsenal's only shot at the title. Everyone wants to make us feel that. Everyone says City will get better, United will get better, Chelsea will get better. Who knows who Tottenham will sign? Liverpool will be back. Well, there's never any guarantee of any of that. They said that
Mhm.
this season about top four. There's never ever any guarantee of that. I don't believe Arsenal are a one trick, one season, team that are just gonna look. We might not be 5 points ahead by this point next season. We might be 3 points off, but I believe we will keep pressuring whoever's at the top. I believe that we will be competitive, and who knows, maybe there'll be a Champions League run. Maybe we win an FA Cup next year, but we've finished top two again. I don't know. I believe this is a team that is building towards
Mhm.
a sustained period of real competitiveness and success in winning trophies. If it's not the Premier League this year, I honestly believe we will be and can be back for more. Do I think we'll win it this year? Um, I don't think Man City are going to win every game between now and the end of the season. I
Yeah.
don't. I think they'll drop more points. So that that kind of makes the gap 7 points, if that makes sense. We're 5 points
Mhm.
ahead. Say that one more drop points would mean that that's essentially two games that we can afford to not win. If that makes, do you get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that kind of buys us an extra game cushion.
Mm.
Um, but it's about how many cushions we need. And I think Arsenal will drop a few points, a bit more than a few between now and the end
Yeah,
of the
it's
season.
hard really because obviously with 10 games left, I don't know if we would win all of them. As much
Mm,
as we are taking it a game at a time, Man City is the one that stands out, and I'm like, it's at the Etihad as well. Um, it's hard because I do think Man City will drop points along the way with our 10 games left. I don't. They have been a bit inconsistent this season. They've lost the teams you wouldn't thought they would, and I just think they will. But it's hard because they know what it's like to be champions, and they've got that experience. We haven't done that in a long time, but we do have Zinchenko and Jesus
yeah,
who know what it's like. So I think I'm very much like you. I'm just sort of taking it a game at a time and not getting ahead of myself because we're not there just yet. I think if we were like 10 points ahead of them, I'd be a bit more relaxed, but
yeah,
because they're sort of close to us, so it's hard and we've still got to play them, so you can't really be so confident right now, but yeah, it's hard, isn't it? I want to be over the moon, but you just gotta take it a game at a time at the moment.
yeah. You do have to take it a game at a time. And you know, do I think that we will do it? Let me put it this way: if there were another team, if they were wearing another badge playing in another city, if they were called Liverpool playing at Anfield, this exact team playing this exact football, having these exact results and this exact points tally, I'd be say I know I would be saying, yeah, they're going to win it. Of course they are. They're playing the best football this season, and they've put together really long runs, and they've been good in the games against the Big Six. And the team
Mm,
chasing them haven't been as consistent as they'd have wanted. But it is Arsenal. It is a club that I have watched over the years and have had questions about whether we can get over the line, whether we're mentally good enough to get over. Now it looks like a lot of players and Arteta himself have changed a lot of that mentality. But let's see. Let's see. I think we are deserving of the Premier League title this season. But to deserve it, you've got to get over the line. It just and you know what? I won't hear if we lose out by a point and everyone goes, oh, that disallowed goal at Brentford cost us. Well, that game, Brentford had a load of chances they should score. A draw was a fair result that day. And
yeah.
City drew to Forest having absolutely battered them. While it's not an exact science that these things even itself out, I do think, I do. You just got to get over the line. You just got to. It won't be given to you. Man City will not let us just have it. It won't be easy
Mm.
at all. And I think it will come down to the final day if we are to win it.
That's gonna be really hard to watch. If it did, I think it probably will. If it went down to the final game,
Stress.
my anxiety would be awful. It's really hard because I don't want to get my hopes up, but then like it's not set in stone that we're gonna win the league. We're just closer than Man City are. But we got Man City. How do you see that game going? Because
Mm,
I'm not like really confident, but I also understand that this team has shown that nothing will sort of stop them this season. There's always like a plan B. If something doesn't work, we'll like bring on Trossard, bring on Martinelli if they're not playing. Like we've got a way to win. So do you think we'll find a way to win in that game, or is it hard to say?
Um, no, I don't think we're going to lose at the Etihad. Actually, I don't. I think we're going to get something. But Arsenal. Arsenal have the ingredients to hurt Man City. They're
Mm-hmm.
actually quite good at dropping into a deep block. Partey, Xhaka do really well to help the centre backs. White, Zinchenko, Tierney, all fullbacks who are very capable. I would say Tomiyasu, but obviously he's out injured. All very
Mm-hmm.
capable of defending deep as well. And we've got players on the counter: Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard's really good at spearheading counter attacks. Jesus can hold the play up. Do so. I think we've got the ingredients to hurt them. We really do. But we're talking about a Man City team that won 4 of the last 5 Premier Leagues by putting up unbelievable points tallies. They've put up serious points tallies, and that's what we're up against. And I said to people that we don't have to be bad to lose the title.
Mm-hmm.
We can be very, very good and still not win it, because that's how little is in it so far, and how long there is still to play. Even though 10 games doesn't sound like a lot, considering how much we've played already, it it is, and every game is going to feel heavy. Brace yourself for these last 2 months; they're going to be quite something.
Yeah, it's. Oh, I'm really excited, but I'm at the same time I'm trying to hold back. I was saying this to
Yeah, I
Cecil.
am too. I am too.
He was so full of energy, and like we've got to take it game at a time because it's like a lot of fans have got. I don't think it's anything wrong with enjoying like the ride at the moment and getting carried away and happy with things because it's been a great season for Arsenal, but um we still might not be able to win it, so it's hard. And I did want to mention about the Europa League. We got knocked out of that. I felt like a lot of fans were disappointed, but they weren't as frustrated as they would be in recent years. I think a lot
Yeah.
of that is down to us being title contenders. How did you feel when we got knocked out of the Europa League? Do you think? I know a lot of fans might think it's a blessing in disguise. Do you think that,
That's what
or how
Robbie
do you
keeps
feel?
saying.
Yeah, you Robbie has said that, and I've seen everyone say it now.
Yeah. I I get it. I get why. It
Mhm.
makes complete sense. Are
Yeah.
Arsenal going to be better off in their Premier League games if they haven't played a Thursday night intense game of football 2, 3 days before? Yes, 100%. No one can dispute that. I felt though that you could turn the being into the Europa League as into a positive. A being, I want to win trophies. We haven't done our thing in Europe for as 20, 30 years, whatever it is. I wanted us to win it. I felt we were good enough to win it. I thought we were clearly the best team left in it. And I'm really disappointed that we've gone out of it. However,
Mm.
I absolutely see the positives to being out of it. And now that's it. That's what's happened. No, we didn't lose. As in, we got knocked out. We didn't lose any of the games.
Yeah.
Arsenal weren't. A lot of people say Arsenal were awful. We didn't play well, but we had plenty of chances to go through. We weren't shambolic totally. It just, okay, we got knocked out on penalties. We were really poor in that second half home Sporting. We should have done more. We did it. We got knocked out. Now we respond. I'm not. I didn't lose sleep over getting knocked out. I really didn't. I thought, okay, that is really annoying. When it happened, I was disappointing. I was disappointed. I did have that feeling in my stomach. Like, oh, this could be a bad one. But um, if we don't win the title, I won't look back at it and go, see, we should have gone further in the Europa League. It's that this team they weren't giving it all in the Europa League. They were more focused on the Premier League. People might say that's not fair, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to criticize the team too much with what they've done this
Mm.
season. You know?
Yeah, I think for me, like as much as I do think the team have tried hard in Europa League, I feel like their heart is more with the league this season, and like that's understandable. And for me, with the Europa League, one thing that I didn't think we were probably ready for is that obviously that game there was a lot of time the players were playing like they didn't get a lot of rest. It was like we play Thursday and Sunday, and I know in the
Yeah.
Champions League next season it'll be like that on Wednesdays, but I just think the team right now probably aren't ready because of like injuries as well. You know, Saliba's injured. I know his injury is not that serious at the moment, but Tomiyasu's out now. So I think it's a good thing in the way that the players get the rest and we play once a week. But I know last season we played once a week and we didn't get Champions League. But I do think that things have changed this season. I think that we can manage it and hopefully we'll
Yeah,
win the league. But I don't think I'm not like devastated, but I did feel disappointed because I guess it would have been nice to like go far in that. But
yeah,
I think for us, like I think the league has been my priority because none of
100%.
us would have thought we would be in this position. So
Yeah,
yeah, I wanted to actually end this stream. I know we've not got a long time on here, so
that's
I
okay.
thought I thought I'd end it asking you, like, so far, your opinion might change at the end of the season, but
Yeah.
who is your player of the season right now, you would say? It's a hard question, but
It is Bukayo Saka.
Mhm.
It is. I just think he has turned up in massive games with big moments. Um, he is. I just think he's a star. I think he's an absolute star. I think he's the face of the process. I mean, it's Arteta, but you know what I mean. You know, when Arsenal was struggling, he was the youngster that Arteta put his faith in. He was the youngster that he trusted and believed in and played left back, left wing back, midfield, number 10, left wing, right wing, wherever it was to get him in the team. And Saka's been an absolute star ever since. His output has been absolutely phenomenal. And you know what? You could list 8 other players, and there's a great argument for all of them. Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Xhaka, Erdegaard, Martinelli, all unbelievable. And there's still others that you could put forward. Ben White, I didn't even say Ben White, unbelievable. But you know what? You know, Xhaka was my player of the season pre-World Cup because I felt he did everything. He defended with the team, he led the team, he was scoring goals, he was creating, he was doing his bit in the final third. But the reason Saka gets it for me is he's had real moments. That goal from distance against Man United. Okay,
Mhm.
so Lloris's own goal, but his part to play away from
Yeah.
home in his cross that Gabriel puts away. He gets the assist in the Chelsea game as well, away from home. You know, a goal against Liverpool, penalty against Liverpool. You know, he has just been the face of an Arsenal team that I think, while not, I know rival fans don't really like Arsenal fans, and I hear that. You know, no one likes rival clubs fans. I think Saka is what makes Arsenal and this group actually a likable group. Like they're all very likable. But you know what I mean? Like Saka's the face of it
Yeah.
is just a humble, hardworking player who just leaves it all out there. Um, and I think a stroke of genius, Arteta. You know, it wasn't just him. Emery gave Saka his opportunity. Let's remember that Emery played
Mm.
Saka quite a bit, but making Saka like a really key part of that, I think, is brilliant on Saka's end for his performances and Arteta for his management and recognizing what he can do to work with him. And now his output's been incredible.
Yeah, I really agree with that. Saka has like I think he's been so consistent this
Yeah.
season. I think for me, like with Saka, he's not had much of a rest either, and he's still really good every game. Like he's
Mm,
one of the players that he will always give you like an 8 or 9 out of 10, and
mm,
it's just like such a joy to have him at Arsenal. And yeah, he's hasn't he like scored 12 goals and assisted 10 this season already. So, yeah, I think he's been really good. Like you said, there's
yeah.
been other great players like Ben White, but Saka has been for me like the start of the season really. But I know there's still a few games to go. But yeah, but James, thank you so much for calling
No,
my
thank
channel
you.
today. It went really quick.
It's flown by. I can't believe it's been 45 minutes, but it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm sorry it's taking so long.
Oh, no,
And
don't be
sorry
silly.
for fence sitting for half of that because that is just what I do. But it's great chatting football and Arsenal with you, and I really appreciate having me on. So thank you, and thank you to everyone.
No.
Harry sucks at YouTube. Neil or Niall as well. No, you know, thank you for the kind words. We do really appreciate it, of course.
Yeah, I've really loved this, and we've like spoken about this for ages. Like even like when you first messaged me ages ago, we've like planned this, so it's been such an amazing opportunity to do this with you, and I just wanted to thank you before you go for like
I
everything you do on
appreciate it.
AFTV.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you know I've always appreciated like your hard work and everything. So, yeah, thank you so much, James. And
No,
thank you to
thank
everyone
you.
that's left a comment. And if you could tell people maybe where they could find you on social media.
Yeah, it's just I get them confused. I think it's AF
I think
at AFTV James on Twitter and then at James AFTV on Instagram. I know they're
that's
not
so
the most.
confusing.
They're not. I know. I don't know why they flipped. One. I don't think one existed, so I ended up mixing them up. But anyway, there you go.
But yeah, follow James on social media, people.
Thank you.
And I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much, James, for joining me today. And I'll see you all very soon. Bye.